time. That's the main thing. Recording to the cloud. Take a few breaths up, guys. We're going to take an inhale and an exhale, and take an inhale and an exhale, and take one more up and down. Now keep your legs wide like you're a sumo wrestler. You're going to drop down into the heels. We'll do a little bit of standing so we can talk about alignment. I'm so glad you're here. Your fanny is going to be heavier than your knees and your quads. Your heels are heavier than your toes, so we're dominating the glutes as opposed to the knees. Your knees are tracking with your second toe, so if you need to look down, make sure that you see that knee track with the second toe. You're never letting the knees collapse. The muscle that's helpful to track the knee is that teardrop muscle right here, the VMO. So that muscle, if it doesn't work, if it doesn't seem to be functioning well, you can touch it, give it some proprioception, and that'll help your knee track. Think about it, get the brain involved in the movement, and it gets a better neural program happening so that when you're not paying attention, that knee still tracks the way it's supposed to. All right, the glutes are strong. It's almost like you're you could lift up your toes. So right now I'm lifting up my toes just to demonstrate that. All right, let's take 3 more. 3, waking up the body. You're only going as low as your knees feel happy. 2, 90 degrees ought to be fine. And hold, and then come back in. We're gonna take a set of normal squats. The heels are gonna be heavy again. Go back, and I'm gonna turn so you can see. The booty's going back. The heels are heavy. The arms could be forward just to counteract the weight because the booty is going so far back. It's as if somebody's taking a chair, they're offering you a chair, and then they're taking it away. So you have to follow it with your booty. The shoulder blades are down in the back. And you have an arch between your mounting your big toe and your inner heel. And if you're like me and genetically you don't really have a good arch, lift up your toes. That'll lift that tibialis posterior muscle. And then lower your toes softly to the floor and try to keep the arch lifted in your foot like you have a suction cup underneath it. So we're going to do 3 more. Both legs have 50-50 weight. Heels are heavier than the knees. 2 and 1. And then another standing exercise is basic calf raises. The feet are underneath the hips. We're going to lift up both the arms and both the heels. The inhale's lifting us and the exhale's lowering us. So as you do a healthy calf raise, each toe has equal weight. Each metatarsal head, each toe head has equal weight. The body's tendency is to sometimes deviate to that pinky toe, but it's not really meant for all that weight. It's not weight bearing. We're going to try to keep that ankle healthy. We're going to each toe head. If anything, the first and second toe, that ball, has more weight. And that'll also keep your ankles healthier since they tend to roll out. That's how 90% of all sprains happen. So not in us, we're going to keep it healthy. Knees are long, but soft. When you're lifting your arms, if there's any tightness in the lats, the low back gets a little lordotic. So we're going to keep some ab tone when we lift up so that our abs are on maybe 5 to 10%. Let's take 3 more. We're getting ready to do a little balance here. 2 and 1. Perfect. Now this is going to be just a basic static balance. I'm going to remove my sock. This is tree pose. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, we're going to add on possibly a lift with the arms, or if you'd like to gently open up the shoulders, you can hold on to cow face pose here. Nothing aggressive. And just hold 30. This is static balance. This is activating this left glute. We're making sure this glute medius is active. 4, 5, hi, welcome, come on in. 6, 7, 8, 9, you're very tall. 10, your ears in line with the shoulder from the side view. 16, 17, 18, hang in there. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, good, 27, 28, 29, add on, your arms are gonna come out, bring your hands to your heart, inhale, and lower that foot. Sarah, I'm wondering how it is in Wisconsin. You'll have to let me know in an email later. Lift up that foot, place it on either your calf or your arch. You're gonna open up. Now that's your possibility, or you could take your cow face arm. You're still pulling your head back in line with that forearm. Notice how this hip, it's going to try to kick out, but you're going to keep it hugging to the midline. That's my right glute working. That's what we want, that glute to work. And hold, 32. Good, Rick, good balance. 5, 6, 7, 8. You're really tall. Sometimes the dominant mover leg isn't as good in the stabilizing, in the one-legged stability. So just notice your tendencies without judgment. That's why we're doing it. Breathing calmly. Soft gaze or drishti. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Lower that down. Perfect. We're going to do a balance pose. Now feet are head in dynamic balance. So before we go down, you're going to open up your right leg. Look how the toes are forward. The body's going to try to toe up, but you're going to keep them forward to activate those abductors. Whoa. So inhale, open. You can add your arms. 3. The toes are all forward. All 10 toes are forward. 4, 5, and that's going to get this booty, the active booty, the glute medius, and this bottom booty is active and stabilizing. 6. If you need to, you can touch your toe. I'm trying not to. 8. Good. 9. Activate these core muscles. Now hold the 10th one up. Add a little pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Right here. 3, 2, and lower that down. Let's go to the other side. You're doing great. A little dynamic balance before we head to the floor. Now 10 side leg abductions. Ideally, the toes are all forward. This leg's going to try to toe up because your body's going to try to ask your vastus lateralis to do the work. We're actually trying to get your glute medius to do the work, the abductor. This abductor's working to balance. This one's working to activate, to active contraction. Head against an imaginary wall. Now on the 10th one, we're going to add on a challenge. 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7. Good. 6, 5. Feel that core. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down. I'm going to meet you down in a down dog. Take your arms up. I'll be moving the camera. If you need to as well, please do. In down dog, you could bend one knee and bend the other. Just sort of get some blood flow to the calves. We did work them. This is also a chance if you need to get water to grab it. Terrific, guys. Wonderful. All right, let both heels press. Neck soft. Your weight is back. 5, 4. I like what I see. You guys look great. Good, Karen. Inhale. Now on your exhale, we're going to go down to a plank. If you would like to do this on your hands, you can. Those of you that have been with me along, you know, you can go to your forearms as well. When you're in a good plank, your elbows are really under or directly underneath your shoulders. Your ribs are lifted. Your knees are energized. If you'd like to modify that lever, you can always put your knees down. I'm looking, hold 10. Good, Betty. 9, good. You're making sure your head doesn't fall. 8, from the side, your ears in line with your shoulders. 7, 6, good, Shireen. 5, 4, 3, lift your ribs a little bit, Catherine. 2, yep, that's it. You should feel more abs. And then rest your pelvis. When your pelvis is down, you're on your elbows, but you're welcome to add on your hands, shoulder blades down the back. Good. 4, 3, that's it. Nice, Ellen. 2. Let's go back to the core planks. I love core planks. So let your elbows be underneath your shoulders. Energize your torso off the floor. Now, your shoulder blades are flat on the back. There's no wrinkle in the shoulder blade area. Lift your ribs a little bit, Catherine. Yep. And then tuck your pubic bone under so you don't have such a sway in your low back. There you go. Now, we're going to add a subtle cue. It's isometric, but act like you're trying to pull your elbows towards your feet and your feet towards your elbows. Act like you're trying to pull your sternum towards your pubic bone and your pubic bone towards your sternum. That's going to add another layer or dimension of an ab crunch. 10, 9, 8, 7, good. 6, 5, good, Karen. 4, just rest if you need to. 3, 2, rest your pelvis. Right now you're in Sphinx. If you'd like to add on, press your hands into the floor. Now in Swan, you want to pull your belly up. So you're never just hanging out in your lower lumbar spine. Your shoulder blades are down the back. So you feel these serratus below your scapula. And hold. 5. I'm looking at you. 4, 3, 2. Good, Betty. And 1. We have another third set. This is static. So we always establish static before we add dynamic. So lift up. Your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Your ears in line with your shoulder. You're energizing your knees. The heels are straight up and down. If you need to modify, you just put the knees down or the flesh above your knees. So we always establish stability before we add mobility. We have a good foundation before we add on movement. Karen, if you need to, just do a cat-cow or something a little shorter, or knees. Yeah, you're good. 5, 4, good. 3, 2, yeah. And rest. We're back on the floor. Pelvis down. Your elbows could be on the mat for Sphinx, or pull your belly away from the floor like you have a piece of ice underneath your belly, and then lift up your ribs. Shoulder blades are down. Good, Ellen. 8. You have energy in your legs. 7. Good. Good, Jean. 6. 5. 4. Upper back extension is so important for posture too. Energy during the day. This is the area that tends to get drawn forward. Now on the 1, if you would like to take a child pose, you can. If for some reason your knees don't tolerate this much flexion, you can always leave your booty in the air and do puppy dog pose. So find the pose that's working for you. 5, 4, 3. You can act like I'm pressing on your low back like we used to do in physical classes. Now, when you're ready, come into a hands and knees. Catherine, if your knees don't like to be down on the floor, you can always double up your mat here or lift them up right away. You can curl your toes. Now, this is just cat-cow. Flexion, extension. There's this saying that you're as young as your spine. So you're going to add flexion and extension. If you tend to be really hypermobile in extension, this pose, then you want to put on the brakes before you just give into that low back. If you'd like to add on, lift up your knees. This is called the beast. You're about 2 inches off the floor in the knees. Round your back and extend your spine. Right now I have my knees a couple of inches off the floor. So I'm adding a strength element with my spinal mobility. If this is too much, you just put your knees back down and make it the cat-cow. If your elbows tend to be hypermobile, you actually have to soften your elbows to make sure they're not spinning backwards. 4. Good. 3. Good, Shereen. 2. And 1. Now, you could lower into a child pose with the knees wide. Let the belly go right in the middle and stretch. Necks off. 5, 4, 3, 2. And then we're coming into side planks. Now, I'm going to fold my mat under because my elbow likes to have that extra cushion of the doubled up mat. Take your feet long and lift up a static pose before we do anything dynamic. Energize your legs. Now, if this is too much, you can always put a foot down or you can put your hip or knee down. 10 more. 9. Imagine you're between a toaster slat. 7, 6. Feel these core muscles. They should be active, but when you put your arm up, your low back's vulnerable to hyperextension. So you want to keep your ribs tucking with those abs. 3, 2. Now, when you go down, keep that shoulder strong. It's your hip that goes down. You never collapse in the shoulder to transition. So transitions are as important as the pose. And it's in life too. Usually people get hurt in the transitional stages. So elbow here, like they're bending over to pick up a item off the floor. So we're keeping our alignment cues in the transitions. All right, if you need to modify your hip or your knees on the ground, or you can put that foot on the floor. Otherwise, hold. Good. Feel your bottom core. 8, 7, 6. Your arm is vertical. The bottom arm. 3. Good. I see it, Pam. Good. Now lower your hip, but keep your arm strong. Good. Let's hit to the other side. Now we're going to add some mobility. You're going to put your elbow underneath your shoulder. Hold it. If you would like to add on, this top arm is gonna thread the needle through the window that you've created. Now lift up your top arm and even go beyond midline for a chest stretch. Exhale, rotation. Your hips are square to me. Inhale and exhale. Good, open up and exhale. Inhale and exhale, thoracic rotation. Good, keep strong. Remember, if you need to modify, do 7. Good, Jean. 8, really strong bottom arm. Oops, Catherine, there you go. Way to correct. And 10. Now lower with your hip, not collapse your shoulder. So keep your shoulder with integrity. Keep that integrity. Other side. All right, I like to double up my mat. Take the time if you need to as well. Arm is up. Lift up. Now your bottom abductor is keeping that hip up so it does not sag to the floor. We rarely have anything saggy in here. Inhale. I can't think of a moment when we have anything saggy. So keep some energy in the bottom half of your body here. The left side. Exhale, it's strong. 4, your hip doesn't sag, your shoulder doesn't sag. 5, what I see looks good. 6, hips stay square, the torso is moving. 7, the upper arm is moving. 8, make sure the bottom arm is not shifting forward and back. 9, it's static like a pillar. And 10, inhale. Exhale, lower the hip with care. Perfect. Other side. I'm going to fold up that mat, stretch out. Okay, let's do our overs. This is lateral flexion. Act like you're painting a rainbow. Your top hand is on your thigh. We're going to lift up our hip. You got it, Ellen. Good. Go up and over, paint a rainbow. Up and over. Lower your hip on this one, but it's with control. It's not just a gravity's winning, pulling you down. 4, good. Yep, that's the way to do it. 5, paint a rainbow. 6, beautiful. Bottom arm is really strong. 7, you see how I never let that bottom arm poke forward. 8, head is against an imaginary wall that my upper back is on. 9, okay, we've got one more. Lateral flexion. 10, gorgeous. Let's switch it up. Doing great. If anytime you need to take a break, just do a hip stretch. Do a hamstring stretch. You want to honor your body's limits. This hand on the thigh. Here we go. Really strong. The bottom arm is vertical. That's probably the most important cue. Inhale and exhale, paint a rainbow. And 3, lift your hip. Good. Exhale, 4. The head's going to try to poke forward, but not with us. 5. If you're having trouble, just stagger your feet instead of stacking them like I'm doing, or put a knee down. 8, bottom arm strong. 9, working on shoulder stability with that bottom arm. 10, very good. That's great. Let's go back to the side planks. We're going to do a different kind of static posture. It's tree. Now I'm going to set up my tree before I head up. This foot's going to be on this inner thigh, or it could be on the floor or your calf. Or you could do normal plank. Get ready. Now you only have one hip abductor helping you. Hold 10. Just stay. Tree. 9. That hip's going to try to drop, but you're not going to let it. 8. 7. 6. Looking good. Open up that knee like you're opening up the page of a book, and you'll get a pectineus stretch. 5. 4. And then Shireen, just lift your head a little bit like that. Yeah. 2. We get a little bit of strength happening in these neck muscles, and lower your hip. Let's do the other side. Doing great. Elbow directly underneath your shoulder. This is probably the most important cue. I'm going to set up my tree before I get up there. Get ready. The bottom edge of that, outer edge of that foot strong. 10. Good. And, you know, the head's tempted to fall, but not with us. We're going to keep it in line with the rest of our spine. The hips are tempted to fall, but not with us. We're going to lift it up. 7, 6, good. 5, it's okay if you need to modify. Karen, that's fine. 4, 3, good. 2, and 1. All right, we're going to take a breather. Just something to get, we've done a lot of planks. You're like, I know. Okay, inhale and exhale, hinge. And this is a good place if you want to do a big toe stretch. So your big toe can open up away from your second toe, or if you have any kind of foot tightness, this is a good place to address one. And then let your elbows gently push down on the inner thighs if you'd like to add more. This is pectineus, the muscle that is, it's a short inner thigh. It sometimes is what gets pulled when people get a groin tear. Let your spine go into flexion. I'm gonna look at you, but you're probably looking down at your feet. I like it. Nice, Corbett. If you need to modify, you can always put your booty on a pillow. Otherwise, just stay there. You're doing great, Ellen. I'm just looking at you for form. 5, 4, beautiful. Shireen, love that fireplace. 2. Inhale. Now on the exhale, we're gonna come up. This is called reverse plank. I'm gonna do this a few ways. If you don't like to be on your wrist at all, just take a shoulder stretch, something like this. But if you're okay, take your fingers towards your booty. This is stage 1, it's reverse table. Stage 2 would be legs long. Now open up your chest and your shoulders. 10, reverse plank. 9, and you're looking down at your toes. 8, 7, everybody looks good. 6, good. Act like there's a harness underneath your booty. 5, and it lifts you up. 4, if you need to modify, just bend the knees. 3, 2, 1, lower. Good. Just hold hands with your self and roll out your wrist and go the other way. Let's do that again. Reverse plank is opening up the shoulders and the chest. It's great for posture. Fingertips to your booty. And I know a lot of times, lift up. A lot of times I give modifications on the elbows. It is good to every now and then work your hands flat on the floor like this. If you fall, that's how you land. So you want to have trained them a little bit at least. You don't want them to be stressed out, but you want the wrist to be strong. Knees are soft. Right here, you've got a little micro softness. Inhale. Good. Exhale. Let it go. I'm going to give us a stretch. Hand forward. Pull your fingers down. Now that's getting the top of the arm, shoulder blade down the back. So if you mountain bike, you shoot, do anything, carpentry, gardening, those muscles are getting tight. So what we're doing is stretching them out. Inhale. And on the exhale, let's do the other one. Pull that down, shoulder blade down the back, elbows soft. You're practicing your axial extension muscles for good posture. Good, lift up. Catherine, I think you can lift a little bit more, I think. Yeah, girl, did you feel that? Your thoracic spine, that was good. This is the last one of these reverse planks. You've got it. Fingertips to your booty, lift up. Inner heel has just as much weight as your outer heel. 9, good, I like the way you're looking at your toes. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then lower your booty. Perfect. Now I'm going to turn just so I can see you better in this, but you're going to be making sure you have enough room behind you that you can roll down if you were to need to. Partial roll down looks like this. Now everybody's going to be different, so don't worry about anyone else's box. If you have me on the big screen, that's good. Just pay attention to the audio. I'm going to show different modifications. So right now I have some knee bend. That's because it's easier to get your lumbar spine in flexion. You want flexion. You don't want to just hinge like a book here. Act like an ice cream scoop went down your belly and you're scooping out your belly. Now, depending on how you're built and your strength, I'm going to show you the way I'm built. I can go all the way down and up without my legs kicking off the mat. That's the key. If your feet kick off the mat, then you're done. You don't want to go any lower. But I'm showing you in a more advanced variation where the feet can stay glued to the floor. I'm not kicking. I'm not making a violent gesture to get off the mat. And then it's the roll down. The first, yeah, there you go. The first move I showed was the partial roll down. The other clue you can do is act like you're holding a red ribbon between your legs and there's this inner thigh contraction, and that helps you get in your abs and it helps you get in your pelvic floor. You can also add your pelvic floor tightening. So imagine you have to use the restroom, you cannot find one, and so when you exhale, you contract those sphincter tight muscles so your pubic bone gets closer to your sit bones and your abs are pulling in, transverse abdominals. and the big rectus abdominis muscles are working. All right, we're doing 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Good, I like it. 1 more. Good, Catherine, that change your arms and that gets you up. Now, on this last one, see if you can take 60. We're gonna count down 60. 1, 2. Now, if you need to modify, bend your knees, hold on. 3, 4, 5. Good, Ellen, you like these. 6, 7, 8, 9. And Pam says no, she doesn't. And you came in the screen to say no, you don't. That's why I have you guys on mute, so I can't hear any complaints. All right, 13, 14, 15. 16, I know you're on a different count, but I'm counting. 18, 20, 21. Good, Corbett, these are great. 24, 26, 27. Now, as I go down, you may need your hands on your thighs. 30, 40, scoop out your belly, look at it, pull in. 45, 50, bite it. 10, 9, 8, 7. The 1 minute roll down, everyone's favorite. 5, 4, 3, 2. Big full stretch. Stretch through your arms, stretch through your legs, stretch through the arms, stretch through the legs. Take a big stretch. Feels so good. This is like you're climbing a ladder. You notice how one leg's going past the other, but it's not because my knees are bending. It's from this QL muscle that runs from the lowest rib to the high pelvis. That QL muscle is really important to keep strong. It's a nemesis in back pain. So here we are, shifting. All right, let's add on the feet on the floor, hands by your side. Now take an inhale, curl your lower spine off the mat, the bridge, everyone's favorite, curl down, and try to go slowly through the areas that feel like they have been tight in the past. What is it? 85% of all people over age 35 have experienced low back pain at some point. So work on those areas where you know you've been tight. Curl. Now, if you have a herniated disc, don't do that articulation. Just go straight up like you're a book. So up. Also try to hear my cues so you don't turn your neck too much on these. I don't want any risk of you getting on your neck. I want your neck to be 100% safe. As you go up and down, the knees might be tempted to splay. You're going to keep your knees in line with your middle hip as if there's a Nerf football between your knees. Now, the next time you go up, stay up. So if you have any kind of hip issue or sacral torsion, you're probably just going to stay both feet on the ground. If you would like to add on though, lift up your right leg and point the right toes towards the sky. Double check, both hips are level. Now, if you'd like to add on, drop your hips and lift them with one leg in the air the whole time. And your left foot has 4 corners of balance on it, so you're not drifting your left knee out to the side. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lower that foot, lift the other leg, take that leg up. If you're adding on, drop your booty and lift it. Make sure you have a little space underneath your neck. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hips are level. 10. Left foot down. Add on. Right leg up in the air. Check that your hips are level. Lower your thigh towards the floor. Go up and down. Add a point and a flex. I'm going to look at you. Your backup plan, though, is that you are both feet on the ground holding a normal bridge. Good. 8. Neck is soft. See if your shoulders can relax. And 10. That foot comes down. Lift up your left leg. Other leg. Now lower and lift your other leg. So you can imagine that your shoulder blades are lily pads on the water. I'm in Florida. I'm seeing all sorts of wildlife in the freshwater, and I see all sorts of lily pads. You can just imagine that your shoulders are lily pads on the mat. Shoulder blades are lily pads. Relaxing as they go with the current. Now lower that left foot. Both feet are on the ground. Recheck your neutral. Lower your spine a vertebra at a time. Now, once your sacrum is down, the heart-shaped bone at the base of the spine, hold onto your feet and stretch out your hamstrings. Now, if you want to grab a big toe stretch here or a pinky toe stretch, you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, I want to offer that you do this stretch longer if this next exercise is not for you. If you can, though, put your legs on an imaginary table, place your fingertips behind your head, lift up your shoulder blades and add rotation. This is called crisscross. In yoga, this is called yogic bicycle. If you are feeling any tension in your neck, usually the correction is that you need to use your abs more to lift your shoulder blades higher off the mat. Look down at your belly and you're going to see your belly pull in. To make this harder, you can make the thigh only come into 90 degrees. That way the leg is further away from that fulcrum. So I'm looking at you. Keep doing it. Good. Another correction you could do is, or tip you could do, is put a pillow underneath your head, and that'll make your head not have to lift up so high, especially if your upper back rounded. It's going to be harder to lift your head up. Or if you have a heavier head, or a long lever and a heavy head and an upper back rounded would be a mechanical, a lot of mechanics going on of why you might need more support. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest your head. Take your hands to your feet. Let your knees go wide. This is called bound angle, supine, Supta Baddha Konasana. Let your elbows gently press on your inner thigh, and you're going to feel the muscles around the pelvis. Relax your pelvic floor. Pull the feet in. You might even feel a little low back stretch. 5. Keep going. I'm going to demo another way that you can modify this. We're going to go into legs up and act like you have a pair of scissors. Now this you can already feel. If you put your hands on your abs, you've got some tone. Now the hands can come behind your head, and basically it's a similar move to what we just did. Rotation with the single straight leg stretch. And I'm showing you a band trick. If you have a Dynaband behind your head and then you rotate, or a towel behind your head, this is another way you can modify for the neck. But I don't want anyone's neck to hurt. You want to make sure your abs are lifting you up. That's the number one correction I can give you. If the head's back here, you can see how that would just hurt. So lift up with your abs. They should be toned. 4, 3, good. Lift up. 2. Now recover. Pull your legs in and just move right and left. Move your ankles, move your toes. We're going to leave our head down. If when you lie down, your neck has an awkward crease in it, or tries to lift off the floor, you need a pillow under your head and or your shoulders. So adding on your leg circles. So this thigh goes up in the air like a pencil. Imagine you're drawing a clock on the sky, and your goal is to keep your shoulder blades down like lily pads. You're not tense at all in the neck. You're enjoying the movement, the lubrication in the hip, and the abdominals are working. There is an advanced variation where you let that working leg hip come off the floor. See, I'm letting it come off the floor. That's a little harder, but your shoulder blades stay glued. We're doing 10 each way. The modification can also be to make these smaller or to bend the knees a little bit, one or both. All right, 10 the other way. If you have any clicking, you want to avoid that. You want to decrease the range of motion so you don't have any clicking. We don't want that friction. And I'm looking. Good. 5. I like it. 6, theoretically, this is getting you some stretching. So you can think about that leg stretching, the one in the air, your ribs down. I like to put my hand on my ribs to make sure my abs are working. And then on the 10th one, hug that leg in, move that ankle, spread those toes. Those of you that are in cold weather right now, I've been hearing a lot about how the feet are tight and the ankles are tight. So this is just a great way to take attention to those ankles and feet. That's what gets stiff in people, and they lose their balance and they start to shuffle. So we're going to keep the feet and ankles really mobile and active so we don't have trouble with balance. Let the right leg go down. Now the left leg goes up. Hands are framing your hip. Inhale, circle, and exhale, complete. Act like there's a you're drawing a clock on the sky. And 6. And you know that variation I took that was harder, the hip comes off. 7. Inhale. 8. 9. Good. 10. Now go the other way, pretty big circle. 1. And your shoulders are glued to the mat. 2, your neck doesn't have any tension. 3, your abs are working. You make it smaller if you need to. It's definitely harder on the abs when your legs lower towards the floor. Inhale. And then hug that leg in, and you can roll that ankle or move it or spread it or whatever you need to do. Good. Let's take both legs in, shall we? Smooth those ankles. Are both feeling equally mobile, or is one tighter than the other? I've sprained my left one about 7 times, and it's always a little tighter, so spend more time on one if you've had it tighter. Now, we're going to leave our hands on the mat, almost like you're framing your hips. Lift up your legs and add an imaginary bicycle in the air. For a moment, put your hands on your abs and notice that the abs are working to keep your ribs down. To make this harder, your legs go further away from you. If you would like to add on, hands behind your head, do an ab crunch with your bicycle. Do an ab crunch with your bicycle. If you would like to add on, bicycle all the way up. Did you see how I kept my hands back there? I'm trying to make it harder. So I'm going to show you that one, bicycle. But if you want it a little easier, bicycle your hands beside you. You got it. Now, this is where you just make decisions about what's good for you. You'd rather leave having been able to do a little bit more than to overdo it and get injured. So 4, exhale the belly in. 3, I like it, Shreen. 2, nice. 1, and take a full body stretch. Let your arms go long, let your legs go long. You can shift your body. 5, that was really good. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now slide the feet in. Take your legs up to vertical. Now, your inhale is going to take your hands behind your head or the band behind your head. Your exhale is going to lift your shoulder blades up. You're in a crunch. Lower your legs a little and bring them up. Inhale and exhale. If these supine abs are just not working out, no matter the cues, you can always email me and we can talk about it later. But also just take a hamstring stretch. Just do something good for yourself. So these are harder. 8, 7, everybody I see looks good. 6, I see a lot of safe modifications. 5, lift up your shoulder blades just a little bit more, Pam. 3, there you go. 2, 1, and then relax. Now, you can take a hand to each knee and stir the pot. So each knee has a separate circle, right? They're moving at the same time, but away from each other. Go the other way. This is really nice if you have sacral issues too, SI issues. Lubricating the joint. You could do this all day, every day if you want. Or if you'd like to add on, we're going to take double leg stretch. I'm going to show you modified. Your hands go to your knees like you're a cannonball. You're going to jump into a warm spring in Idaho. And then you're going to lift up your arms and your legs, and then you're going to hug. You're going to lift up and hug. Now I'm going to show you the harder variation. Tuck the chin, lift your shoulder blades. If you're adding on, open up and hug. Open up and hug. Inhale and exhale. And I'm looking between my inner thighs, that space between my inner thighs, so that my neck is safe. Lift up higher if you feel anything at all, or just rest and do the first variation. Good. 3 more. Good, Pam. 2. Nice. Your torso stays up the whole time. Keep the torso up. Keep the shoulder blades off the mat. And then rest. Very nice. All right. Of course, we're adding on. That's what I like to do. Hands beside your pelvis. Actually, let me show you a way to double up your mat. If your sacrum's like mine and it's kind of bony, you can also double your mat here so that you don't have any pain associated with the exercise. We want to associate joy with your movement. Now we're going to go the other way. The shoulders are down on the mat in vertical, and then you keep them glued as you go the other way. So we're going to attach joy to our movement, attach heightened emotions, so that we're more likely to keep up our habits. And you're feeling your abs contract. You're feeling the shoulders down. The bigger the circle for corkscrew, the harder it is. Those of you that are familiar with Pilates Mat, you know that there's a harder variation where you go over your shoulders. I'm not showing that because it's too hard to make sure everybody's neck is safe. But if you're comfortable with it, go for it. Yes. I want high benefit, low risk for us. Good. 4. Long knees. 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm going to give us a big fat inner thigh stretch. Go out like a big V. Hold on with your hands until you feel an inner thigh stretch. I love it. All right, great. Pull your toes back towards your shins if you need more. Let all the exhale relax out of your neck and shoulders. Your jaw is soft. You might even separate your lips. Your mind is on the inner thigh stretching. One of the benefits to link movement with breath is that the parasympathetic system kicks in, and that's a healing nervous system as opposed to the sympathetic, which is in a fight or flight, freeze or fawn mode. 3, 2, and 1. Now on this next one, the left foot's on the floor, the right leg's up. I want you to have the option of doing a hamstring stretch, or if you would like to add on, you're going to make your hands go, you're going to have your hands behind your head, you're going to do crunches. If you would like to add on, you can add on climb a tree. It's almost like you're a monkey, and then you climb that tree. And 3. And 4. And 5. Good. And 6. Good. Catherine, you see how your leg keeps wanting to go in and out? Just leave it slightly out and see if that helps you have more weight on that side of your fulcrum. And up. Now switch it up. I'm going to switch legs while I'm up here. Up, up, up. Yep. And now come down. Inhale. Some of you were just doing an ab crunch. That's great. Some of you were doing a hamstring stretch. If you're having trouble getting up, usually the foot that's on the floor, and like Corbett, you might even want to try that. The foot that's on the floor, you walk a little further away from you, and that'll get your hip flexor a little bit more involved. The first 30 degrees of the spinal flexion from the floor up are abs, rectus abdominis, and then the hip flexor does have to kick in. So you can make this what you need. You could stay low. You could add on the whole integrated movement. One more, guys. Inhale. Now, if you need to just rest, please do. I always like to add a little fun to this. So this is like a full teaser. You come up. Now you roll down. You inhale. You exhale. You come up. You inhale. You exhale. Of course, you could be resting. 3, 2. I'm going to show a really fantastic way to come up. Inhale, come up, teaser. Now you can do this or you can just get here any way you want to, but check this out. You cross your ankles, you put your hands in front, you step or jump back. If you don't want anything to do with my amazing tricks, just get there any way you want to. And from here, you're in a push-up position. You could do this on your knees like a cube. You could do this on your knees like a modified plank. You could do this on the wall standing up, or you could do it in a plank on your toes. The main thing is that the shoulders are down the back. Pull your head up, Catherine, towards the sky. Yep. Bend your elbows only. Don't let the ribs drop. Good, Betty. Good, Karen. Good. Keep the head pulling back. Pretend like there's a pole on your head and your upper back and your booty, and your head doesn't leave the pole. That's a lot of what I see is that the head drops. Take 2 more. Abs are working in a good plank, in a good push-up. Child pose, press your hips back. Very good. Stay there. We're going to be adding on. We're going to add on a dynamic swan. Let your legs go back and hover your hands. Now, this is your upper back working just by lifting up, no hands. Now your lower back has to work a little, and your booty and your hamstrings. They're not death gripping, but they are working. Let your inhale naturally lift you up. Okay, if you'd like to add on, put your hands on the floor and press up. Inhale, love it. Very good, Corbett. Exhale, lower down. Now when your head's down, you can put a pillow under your head like these arms, then lift up both legs behind you. You're the bottom of a rocking chair, hamstrings and glutes. Lower your legs, lift up your upper back, let your hands assist you. Shoulder blades are down the back. Your triceps are working and your thoracic extensors. Lower your spine, rest your head or your cheek, lift up your thighs. Lower your legs, lift up your upper back. Let your hands assist. So we're going to keep doing this while I micro cue it. Both legs lift up evenly. Sometimes one leg tries to lift up higher, but you're going to monitor that. Lift up your upper back. Let your hands assist you. Your shoulder blades are down the back. Probably the biggest correction I see here is that most people slam their shoulders by their ears. We want the lower shoulder blade stabilizers working. Then the legs lift. Lift up your upper back. This is these type of postures, thoracic extension, are critical for posture preservation. This is what you see people starting to get rounded when they get older, but we don't want that. That also lowers your mood. It lowers your energy. You feel tired. Lowers the ability to get a good breath. Your nervous system is feeling like it's depressed, but it's really just the posture. So we like to strengthen these muscles so you don't have to work so hard during the day to have good posture. Upper back. Now we're going to hold it. You can see how extension promotes invigoration, a readiness for the next step, a good mood, confidence. So mood begets posture, posture begets mood. We're going to use that for advantage, manipulate our energy whenever we need it with our mood, and vice versa. Hold. 5, belly pulls in. 4, 3, good, nice. 2, I love it. Now, that was good, Karen. If you need to take a break, take a break. This is another way to take a break. It's like you're watching a good movie and you're just bending on the floor and you're bending your knees, swaying back and forth. All right. Now, if you'd like to add on, take the legs down. At first, right leg up, lower. Left leg up, lower. Right leg up. Now, while you're doing this, the hips are level. They're not rocking. You're pivoting off your hip bone. If you'd like to add on, you're going to lift up the right arm and the left leg, the left arm and the right leg. Right arm and left leg. Let me get where you can see my arms a little bit. Right arm, left leg. This is called swimming. If you want it harder, all the limbs come off the floor. It's almost like your belly's on a raft and you continue. So I like to do things that promote bone density so that we don't get porous bones. Top 3 areas for porous bones are wrist, hip, and spine. So we want to keep those areas stimulated so that Wolf's Law can help us grow bone, not lose it. 5, 4, 3, 2, recover. Anytime you need to take a break, please do. I'm going to add on a possible here. Interlace your fingers at your lower spine. If your hands don't reach, don't despair. Just put them beside your hips. If they reach each other, lift up your legs and just breathe. Correct your neck so that you don't have any wrinkles in your neck. Every time you inhale, you're going to lift. Every time you exhale, you might micro drop. Very good. 5. Good. 4, 3. Whole back body. This is where most people neglect in a traditional gym setting. So we really want to go after it. Lower it. Now switch your hands. The other pinky's on the outside. Inhale, lift. Upper back, arms, thighs. And lower. If you need to take a child's pose, please do. While we're here, I'm going to have the knees bend, especially if it's new to you and you're not used to extensions. Otherwise, take the hands to your feet or one foot or the interlaced fingers. Now lift up when you're ready. Bow pose, also called rocking in Pilates. 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale, and exhale. Now we're going to take a child's pose. If you'd like to stretch out your feet, you can pull your toes under and push back through your arms and the heels are straight up and down. Relax your neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to have us do a quad stretch now. Take your arm on your side. Where'd the time go? I feel like it's gone fast. Take your hand to the foot, pull your ribs down and pull your pubic bone up. When you're in a quad stretch, it's really easy to get lordotic or too big of a low back sway. So we have to use our abs a little bit, most of us do, to make this quad stretch a quad stretch. Now, there's a shoulder opener in this. I am going to demonstrate another quad stretch so that if you have, if it's too easy for you, the one I just showed, you have an option. The other quad stretch is basically like bridge with 1 foot underneath. It's called one-footed bridge. Now I'm going to take a look to see what cues I can give. This is a lot harder. You can also do it on a roller, a foam roller. Great. This is a great place to diaphragmatically breathe because the diaphragm attaches on the lumbar 1, 2, and 3 on one side and lumbar 1, 2 on the other. So when you breathe diaphragmatically, it not only calms your parasympathetic system or kicks in the parasympathetic system, but also gives some blood flow to the low back and the psoas muscle that we're stretching, which attaches to the lumbar spine. So it's like an extra layer of stretch you give just by breathing deeply. I've got my hands on my lower abs. I want to apologize that my phone's going off so much right now. I must have forgotten to turn off the ringer. You're just going to let that be a reminder to stay focused on your inside. Letting go. We're going to take it to the other leg. So I'll show you both ways to do it. You can take your hand to your foot and pull your ribs down and pull your pubic bone up. If you want the other stretch, you're going to put your foot under. Good. If you have your foot in your hand, just make sure you're not turning your ankle. Catherine, yes, you got it. You knew exactly where I was going with that. Good, Catherine. So the ankle so easily inverts that we don't want to add to that by overstressing those ligaments. Good, Pam. Relaxing. Releasing. Mind is softening. Eyes are softening. I really like this muscle to stretch because we're in flexion so much when we drive and when we do work. And then if you've ever stood up from a long car drive and you have trouble straightening out your back, this is the area that we're getting. It's chronically flexed with our life now. So, and then even if you do sports, a lot of times you're accessing your hip flexors a lot. So it's just a great stretch. Lower that. Now I'm going to offer the knee down twist. The left leg goes long. Your right, I like to use my right foot to lift my bootay and then take my knee over. Now your left hand can hold onto your right leg. Your right arm can go out like a T, or if you need some more scapula mobility, just move that shoulder around and just leave it eventually palm up out there where it feels so good. Your hips are stacked. Let go with all the mind's worries of yesterday and tomorrow. Just be in the moment. Let yourself have a time to heal, time to be free of the chatter that is the tendency of the mind. Keep going. I'm going to just turn that phone off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I see some people in Roanoke lost power, so some of it was you guys. I'm so glad you are here. There's of you that are here with power being out around you. Thank you for being here. Take another inhale. And exhale. Let's go to the other side. Right leg long, left knee down, twist. Your hand can help you. Your left arm can go out, or if you want to take a few circles, a healthy scapula glides up and down the back. Now, if you have any painful ranges of motion, like up there, for example, any impingements, please decrease your range of motion so that everything we do feels great. As you inhale, the ribs are attached to the spinal vertebra, so you actually get some length in between the vertebra. You can imagine the nourishing of the intervertebral disc. And then as you exhale, you might even notice you micro-rotate. It's like you're wringing out a wash rag. You're getting rid of any dense energy, any old air. It's one way we detox is through the breath. And just let your mind go. Let yourself drift deeper into a stretch. And even though we're stretching, I'm going to just start us with some imagery so your eyes can be soft. You're on a very sturdy kayak. You're drifting down the Hillsborough River in Florida, and the sun's shining through the Spanish moss and the cypress trees. The cypress trees have large fan-like root systems and bumps. Their roots are sticking up through the water. We're going to take an inhale and come back to your back and take your right ankle to left thigh and open up your hip. Reach your hands through your window and interlace until you feel a hip opener. And the sky is beautiful and blue. You can see it through the Spanish moss. The wind gently blows the Spanish moss. And there's alligators leaving you alone every 100 yards or so. Ibis, white ibis birds and juvenile ibis, a gray-brown with a pointed down beak, spoonbills of shades of pink with creamy white, a dark pink undertone on their booty as they put their beak towards the floor. Snowy egrets, beautiful white. You can see the sun shining through the snowy egret's feathers. See the black legs. You can see herons, blue herons. You're just drifting down the Hillsborough River in perfect temperature. And then take the other side, ankle to thigh, hip opener. And you can hear the calls of the hawks, red-shouldered hawk, a two-toned call. And you can hear barred owl. You're just drifting. Turtles on the side of the logs, different shapes, different sizes. And you're just relaxing, drifting down the water in your safe kayak. Perfect temperature, hearing all the noises around you. And you're welcome to take a shavasana here, or if you prefer to have your legs up on the wall, you can. Just whatever lets your mind soften. Just taking in the healing energy of the sun, the healing energy of the birds and the sounds around you. Notice how you feel with that calm nervous system that's intended for our healing. And gently wake your fingers and toes and start coming up to a seated position. You can leave your eyes closed in order to keep the parasympathetic system attuned. The breath through the nose to keep the vagus nerve stimulating the parasympathetic system. Just lift up through your spine. And you can take a hand to your heart and then the other hand covers the heart. Notice how good it feels to have taken care of yourself. How it's so easy to get lost and that you want to always be able to come back to your home base, your homeostasis. And just ask yourself, what else can you do today to continue for further self-care? Maybe a cup of hot tea with ginger and lemon in it. Just see whatever it is that comes to mind. Root salad, whatever it is you need. Make a promise to honor that message of self-nurturing and self-care. Whenever you're ready, allow your eyes to open and come back into the room. I'm so very glad you joined me. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad that you came. Thank you, Corbett. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad you came. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Email me with any questions. Love you guys. Bye.